establish a Sustainable Development Fund charged with responsibility for imposing, operating, and managing the fund for the attainment of sustainable development goals in Nigeria and for other related matters. I so move.
My name is Honorable Adam Gurai. I represent Shirakia, the Federal Constituency. I'm from Bauchi State. I rise to second the bill ably moved by my honorable colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Honorable Faruk.
This bill came as a result of three issues. One, Mr. Speaker, I happen to be a member of the SDG committee. Two, I was privileged by the benevolence of the Mr. Speaker, who drafted me among the delegates from the House of Representatives to attend Speakers' Conference in Guinea-Bissau, where issues of SDG was discussed and resolution reached that member countries or parliamentarians of member countries should seek to domesticate the... Mr. Speaker, the third reason for this bill is the fact that increasing economic, social and political inequalities and challenges in this country, it gives credence to new thinking on how we can come out of it, how we can fund our development. Mr. Speaker, we had millennium development goals in the last 15 years, and the United Nations, in its own wisdom, invited all sorts of people, government, professional, academia, and everybody to come and discuss about the success or otherwise of the Millennium Development Goals after the 15 years. And unanimously, the Congress accepted that we should move on for sustainable development goals. And this had been. Mr. Speaker, governments are adopting this and funding it critically. We here in Nigeria, one of the greatest challenges we have is inadequacy of even financing our budgets, which means we have to think outside the box. We have to think outside the government on how to fund our projects. Mr. Speaker, each one of us here is representing certain communities, certain people, and we know the need to develop such areas, be it in education, be it in health, be it in land, roads development, and what have you. But Mr. Speaker, we do not have the fund, but we can have it. Nigeria is so blessed with population, is so blessed with resources, and we believe we only need to think on how to do it better. We can fund our development. Mr. Speaker, the objective of this bill, one, is to establish a sustainable development fund that seeks to ensure attainment of sustainable development goals in Nigeria. Two, to establish a management board for the fund which shall be responsible for receiving monies accruing to the fund, identifying and scrutinizing and approving and counterpart funding projects, including PPP and counterpart funding of projects in the real and social sectors of Nigerian economy. Also to facilitate the reduction of poverty through establishment of sustainable economic empowerment programs, to ensure the realization of sustainable development goals through effective provisions of essential services in all sectors of the economy with strategic management of climate change. Also to credit the fund with levies collected from certain organizations at a particular percentage as may be approved by the President's open resolution of the National Assembly. Also to empower Federal Inland Revenue Services to assess and collect all levies and pay into the account of the fund. Mr. Speaker, I believe this is what we can do. Currently, we have an office in the presidency which is on NGG. In fact, it's a policy initiation which, under democracy, we should not be having it, because we are under democracy, and such office, which we are always budgeting for, must have the support of the legislation from this chamber and also from the Senate. So, Mr. Speaker, that's why we have to legislate and domesticate the Sustainable Development Fund, so as we should be doing things right under democracy. Mr. Speaker, we have a lot to get from this. We will develop our people as other countries, even less endowed than us, have done. Sierra Leone here and Côte d'Ivoire, Mr. Speaker, you only need to go and see how rapid their development is. It's simply because they found a way of funding their SDGs. I want us to do so. About 27 countries in the world have already done so, including UK, USA, Canada. And I believe if we want to move under the same train in development, we need to do so. We can do it. Mr. Speaker, with this, I support each one of us on behalf of our people that we come here to represent, that we want to develop, that we should support this bill to second reading. Also, moves, Mr. Speaker.
I'm inclined to support this bill for the very simple reason that I've seen the SDG work. This is one policy that has really brought development to the grassroots, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the last few years that I've been in this house, the SDG has really helped to bring empowerment items even to the smallest of my constituents. Mr. Speaker, but I must say that they have not succeeded 100% for the very simple reason that they lack funding. So the essence of this very bill is to ensure that SDG is adequately funded.
I think if a percentage of national budget is being sought to sustain this development goal,
Honorable members, please take your seats.
Over a period of years, that one might be tenable. But to now establish a whole fund, like that fund, which is meant for education, for buying motorcycles and helmets, because our people are poor. We cannot remain poor. On the ladder of nations, Nigeria is number 40 among the developed nations out of about 196 countries. And if we have to take it right, we should move on from number 40. After all, we are 7th among the largest populated countries. We have all the resources to move our people from penury, poverty. So we should not celebrate poverty by establishing fund for Keke Napep. I think I sympathize with the motives, but it doesn't require a whole fund. A whole fund to now continue to buy. So I want us to take caution.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, my privilege of being in this house for 3 years, I want to disagree that SDG is purely for Keke Napep. I have the privilege of bringing more tangible things through SDG to my constituency. I want to appeal that whatever defect you observe about this bill should be cured at the public hearing. As it is, SDG is necessary, the fund for it What this bill seeks to do is to give legal backing to some of this responsibility. And he did say, if you look at the narrative he gave us, that the intention of the bill is to have a time frame where this will expire. He said 15 years. MDG had a time frame expired in 2015. SDG came on board. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I want to appeal to us that we should allow this bill go to the second reading. Cure whatever defect you notice at that stage. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The question is the bill be now read the second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Act to establish the Sustainable Development Fund, charged with responsibility for imposing, operating and managing the fund for the attainment of sustainable development goals in Nigeria and for other related matters. Second reading.
On sustainable development goals and justice. 6